Hey, Zach Lowe is here, so it's time for The Lowdown, the off-season version of The Lowdown. Best and worst moves. Zach, let's start with this one. Who has had the best off-season so far in the NBA?
It has to be the Oklahoma City Thunder. The best young team in the league already. Watched everyone else around them in the West either mostly stand pat or get a little worse in Denver's case. And what did they do? They traded a guy who couldn't fit with their team anymore for one of the best role players in the league in Alex Caruso and signed the best big man on the market, Isaiah Hartenstein. He can play next to Chet Holmgren. He stabilizes the bench. This team is the favorite for the #1 seed in the Western Conference and maybe to make the finals.
All right, other end of the spectrum. Who's had the worst offseason so far?
The two teams who made the finals in the East in the 2020s who aren't Boston, Miami, Milwaukee, wake up. The offseason is here. The rest of the East is maybe kind of trying to pass you by at the top. They really haven't done much. They don't have many tools, but it's kind of sad to watch them just stand in place.
How about your personal favorite? What's the move you looked at and went, man, that's the one I really love?
I was tempted to go Chris Paul throwing lobs to Wemby, but in the championship landscape, it has to be the Sixers in almost a do-or-die year, stealing Paul George from the LA Clippers. They have a central casting, tailor-made big three, and not only that, they own some Clippers draft picks from the James Harden trade. Huge, seismic move.
You know who else was impressed with the Paul George acquisition was our friend Mark Spears. Earlier this week on NBA Today, he was talking about what this means for the Sixers in the hierarchy of the Eastern Conference. Take a listen to what Mark had to say.
Sixers, they got Joel Embiid. They got the three best players amongst the two teams.
The three best players over Jalen Brunson?
Jalen Brunson, you're taking Paul George and Tyrese Maxey and Joel Embiid over Jalen Brunson.
Whoa, child.
All right, somewhere that is going to be a Josh Hart tweet.
All right, so Wendy and Zach, you were both sitting there when this happened, so you're not hearing this for the first time. But Wendy, what was your reaction to what Mark said?
It was crispy. That was crispy, and obviously Malika gave him a chance to take it back, and he stuck with it. I had Jalen Brunson in 5th on my MVP ballot, so you know I'm going to disagree with Spears. With all due respect, the man's in the Hall of Fame. I don't know if he remembered, but Brunson averaged 42 points a game against the Sixers in the last 4 games of that series. I was feeling better about the MVP vote every single game that I saw him play there. So, look, Jalen Brunson has proven himself as a megastar in this league, and you know who believes them? The Knicks. The trade for Mikal Bridges was really a vote of confidence that Jalen Brunson is a superstar player and can be the best player on a championship team, and he can be. And I think there's a very good chance the Knicks are going to finish with a better record during the regular season than the Sixers will next year. Now, will they be a better top-end team if both teams are fully healthy? That's to be seen, and maybe that's the point Spears is making, but I'm not saying a negative word about Jalen Brunson.
Bobby, how about you? What did you think of what Mark said?
I would say if you put Jalen Brunson on the Philadelphia 76ers right now, he would be their second best player. Ooh. And I'll stick with that. So I felt like Mark wanted to, when you looked at Mark's face on that, I felt like he wanted to take it back, and he's like, you know what, I'm gonna stick with it right now. So that's how listen, I think Tyrese Maxey and Paul George are heck of a players. But I think what we saw from Jalen Brunson this past year, I think he's well deserving of being named, in the top 5, top 6 in this league right now.
It seems like there's some agreement on who the best player is of the 4 we're talking about, and it seems like that would be Joel Embiid. So considering that they did go make this splashy move to get Paul George and help him out, Zach, would you say that Joel Embiid is under the most pressure of anyone to cash this in with a title next year?
I mean, he's got to be up there, if not number 1. And we should mention that, Philadelphia probably has more top-end talent than the Knicks, and their big 3 is probably better than any 3 players the Knicks could pick. But they also have half a team right now. They have to fill out their team. And we just saw with the Celtics, having really good top-level depth is crucial in the playoffs. The Sixers don't have that yet. And Joel Embiid is hurt every year in the playoffs. He's underperformed almost every year in the playoffs. It's time for the Sixers to make sure he's healthy for the playoffs and for Joel Embiid to step up and give us the playoff run from him we've been waiting for a long time now. Everyone crowning the Sixers, I must have missed when they won a second-round playoff series in the Joel Embiid era because it has not happened yet.
Bobby, what do you think about the pressure on Embiid now with the way this Sixers team looks?
Yeah, when you win the offseason on paper, there's always pressure on you. And I think certainly the inability to get to a conference finals for the last 5-6 years, forever, in fact, there's going to be heightened expectations in Philadelphia here.
Wendy, what do you got for a final word on this Joel Embiid situation?
We have 15 years of data now on what happens when teams take their whole team down to just get star players on their roster. And typically in the first year, they don't have quite enough and they need another year to build up their backups. I expect that to be the case. If you're saying there's a bunch of pressure on Embiid this year, you're reacting to their front-end star power, but this team is not yet built to win at the highest level. They're going to need some more time.
Wanna try to boast at what I look like. Think I'm gonna try to wear, I pull up all brains. Jimmy with the heat, I'm on fire. It's NBA on the ESPN.